Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
And hello, this is Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community. I'm Dave Mason, in for Drew Schlosberg and my wonderful co-host,
Shiva Kabra.
And we are here brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union and the Mission Fed Studios. And our guests today,
we have Brady Ferdig, the co-director of GI Film Festival, and Nico Marcolongo, advisory committee member.
Nice. Welcome, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Once every year in San Diego, the GI Film Festival, in coordination with an organization near and dear to my heart, which is KPBS, because I've been happy to work with the great people over there for 2005, carried the one, a long time. And we hear about the GI Film Festival, wonderful people like Beth Accomando. I'm sure you've had encounters with Beth.
Absolutely.
So, Nico, let's start with you, the beginnings of the GI Film Festival.
So, GI Film Festival San Diego started in 2015, and I've been a advisory committee member since the inception. We are composed of a group of individuals who have an interest in supporting the military. Many of us are military veterans, and we review films that are by, for, and about the military to see if they will make the cut for the festival. We get about 100 entrants every year.
Oh, really?
And we whittled that down this year to 31. We have 31 films this year.
Wow.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
What is the mission of the festival each year?
It's to present films to the community that are by, for, and about the military. Not every film has a military theme, but there's some connection, whether there's an actor in there serving the military, a producer, a director. There's a lot of talent out there. Yeah. And so it's really good to bring these films together and show the community that the military members are part of our community. Whether that film is about a military, event, or it's themed military, or it's something like a fantasy film. Mm-hmm. We have everything brought together, and it just shows that, hey, we are part of the population. The military comes from our community, and it's a way for the military members to give back to the community.
And Brady Ferdig, your involvement with the GI Film Festival, San Diego GI Film Festival. It's important. There are film festivals, I'm sure, all over the country, a GI Film Festival.
There are. The original GI Film Festival started in Washington, D.C. in 2006. Mm-hmm. And then we started in 2015. We are the only GI Film Festival now, but we label it GI Film Festival San Diego because that one's ours, right? And we have such a large military community here. Of course, we have Coast Guard bases, Marine Corps bases, Navy bases. We have a few Army, not necessarily based, but we have Army representation here as well, Dave.
He pointed at me because I was in the Army for 3 years. Brady, now, why is this the only GI Film Festival now in the country?
Well, I think we've, I'm a San Diego native here, and we've just got the largest base. There's 2 Top Gun movies that talk about this city, and so there's just, I feel like there's a lot more, creativity that kind of stays in the air up here, and not just with the jets. So
wow. So let's get your background, Nico.
Sure. So I'm from San Diego native, and I was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Marine Corps in 1994. I served 14 years. I did a couple deployments to Iraq, among other places. And now I work at the Challenge Athletes Foundation. I run a program called Operation Rebound for injured veterans and first responders. So I'm just serving in a different uniform, and being part of the GI Film Festival San Diego is another part of my service, being on that advisory committee. So it's good to continue serving.
How long have you both been the GI Film Festival?
This is my Okay, I got to carry the one too. So
This is Nico speaking.
that's right. This is 8 years now, right? And Brady, is this your first entry?
This is my very first entry to the San Diego Film Fest or the GI Film Festival.
All right.
Yeah.
Brady, you're interested in this? What is your connection with the film festival? I mean, how did you get interested in this?
Well, so I work for a veteran-founded nonprofit university here called National, founded by a Navy service member named David Chigas in 1971. And 2 years ago, we were a sponsor for the GI Film Festival. So when we started working on this documentary, which we're going to talk about today, I thought that there's really no better place to start with this doc because it involves a military spouse, and this just seemed like the perfect place to have the world premiere. Nice,
very nice. The documentary that we're talking about today, it's Echoes of Resilience?
Correct. Yep.
Let's find out a little bit more about that.
Sure. Yeah. So Echoes of Resilience is kind of the lifelong story, at least to where our protagonist named Whisper Tennis is now in her life. But from a very young age, she was surrounded by PTSD, mental illness. And as she grew into who she is now, all of that really shaped her to be a caregiver on the subjects of PTSD. And, her father was in the military, her husband was as well. And, what her goal is now is to reduce the amount of suicides and to get in early and to have people reach out and ask for help sooner rather than later. And I find that to be very important. And so when we were working with her on this story, I just wanted to make sure that we told it in a way that could be received in such a way that's not just informative, but emotionally impactful.
Yeah. What was the motive / inspiration on why you wanted to do or make a film with something like this, on something like this?
When it comes to family, I don't think there's anything more important than that. And, this is directly related to, her experience with her family, her mother, her father, her brothers, and when it comes down to, hearing a story like we have of Whisper's life and how that could improve the lives around us, that was my, that was my drive to make sure that this was told correctly.
Who else is working with you on this film?
This film is co-directed with Alex Fry and myself, and we have an amazing motion graphic artist named Alberto Garcia. And it wouldn't have been possible without the help of National University.
What other types of films do you guys have at your film festivals? Genre?
We have. You picked the genre basically.
Yeah.
Most of them are military themed. Like I said, we have 31 films. But we have some comedies, some lighter ones, and it just really, I would encourage everybody to go. The tickets are $10. It's $8 for military veterans and active duty. And you get to see a whole block for that. It's not just one film, unless it's maybe a feature length. Mm-hmm. But for example, Echoes of Resilience, it's 14 minutes long, and it's extremely powerful. You'll get a strong sense of what, particularly a caregiver, a spouse, which, a lot of times we talk about the veteran themselves, but we don't talk about the effects on a family, and where that spouse, the surviving spouse, needs to really pick up the pieces and move on, particularly when they have children. And that's where Brady's film really hits it on the head, and you can gain a really deep understanding of the challenges that a lot of our caregivers face on a daily basis.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think about this, Nico. When you got out of the Marines, you could have continued to live in San Diego and gotten a job in the civil sector and the civilian sector, and you just walked around and said, "Hey, I'm a Marine." But you've gotten involved with a whole bunch of organizations. And what about the flag football project?
You did your research. Yeah. So the way I got involved with Challenge Athletes Foundation, I started my own charity called Buddy Bowl is actually a continuation of an organization that started in 1977 as a group of individuals who just wanted to play football on the beach when they came home from college and have a reunion. I turned it into a charity event in 1999. Unfortunately, that year we had a helicopter crash that killed 6 Marines and Navy corpsmen, 4 of whom were from my unit. So we passed a can around and raised $550. And I said, from now on, football for charity. And then I teamed up with the Challenge Athletes Foundation and established a fund for injured vets and first responders that morphed into Operation Rebound. So I had unwittingly created a job for myself 5 years before I got out of the Marine Corps.
Wow. Shiva, we're in the presence of a couple of people who, again, care about the community, care about the fellow man and woman, fellow humans. And it's overly impressive, really, with the San Diego GI Film Festival, which is coming. What are the dates of the film festival, by the way? Brady, any ideas? Or should we turn it over to Nico?
Well,
all right. That's probably a Nico.
Yeah. It's 15 through 20 May this month, or this coming month. Right, 15 through 20 May, at the Museum of Photographic Arts, MOPA, in Balboa Park.
Okay.
It's a wonderful venue. There's a single theater there where all the screenings will take place, and there's some great art in there as well. So I'd encourage everybody to come down and get your tickets now at gifilmfestivalsd.org, gifilmfestivalsd.org.
That's really cool. I'm going to take my family to go, that's for sure. What do you think, what impact do the films that are presented at the GI Film Festival have on the community or the veteran community?
I think one, obviously it shows the creative side of our military veterans. I think something people really have to understand is all of our veterans we're all citizen soldiers, right? I mean, we come from this great land. We stand up, we serve, whether it's 4 years or 40 years. Then we go back to being civilians again. We go back to being that regular person on the street. So these films are really by us and about us, right? And so it's good to give other people who don't have that experience or maybe have a certain perspective on the military and what people who serve in the military are like, to see this and go, wow, we have more in common than I thought. Getting back to echoes of resilience, I think a lot of people in the community, whether they served or not, can relate to a similar story. Whether it's caregiving, whether unfortunately it's suicide, mental health, those types of things. And so it's packaged obviously in through a military story, but I think a lot of people can relate to that. And so I think it really brings our community closer together.
I think in general, there is a stigma with mental health that, our film just starts to address. And I think that, it might be difficult to talk about, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't talk about it.
I'm going to find out more about what your hopes are for this film, Brady, if you hang on a second. Our guests are Nico Marcolongo, the advisory committee member, the GI Film Festival San Diego, Brady Ferdig, co-director of Echoes of Resilience.
And this is Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community podcast, brought to you by Mission Fred Credit Union.
I'm Dave Mason in for Drew, and this is...
I'm Shiva Kabra.
And doing a wonderful job. We appreciate it. We appreciate you, gentlemen, for being here, and we're going to find out more in just a minute. Take a quick break. We'll be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
Closed circuit for Drew Schlosberg. Take a vacation. Oh, he did take a vacation. This is Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community, Cloudcast Media in the DS studio, and we're brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union.
I'm Shiva Kabra.
And I'm Dave Mason, and we're here with very special guests today.
Brady Ferdig, co-director of the GI Film Festival, and Nico Marcolongo, the advisory committee member.
Of the GI Film Festival San Diego, which is coming up in May.
May 15th through 20th.
It may be May when you're listening to this podcast, so don't miss it. Really, don't miss it. Brady, the film that you are co-director on is Echoes of Resilience.
Correct, yes.
And you kind of gave us a quick overview of what the film is all about. What is your goal when people see this film? What would you like them to, what is the takeaway, really?
First and foremost, the main goal of the film is to destigmatize mental health and make it a topic that's easier to talk about. I think for many years it was kind of, swept underneath the rug or maybe too embarrassing to bring up on a personal level. And because this story is the story of, a veteran spouse surrounded by, PTSD and mental health in general, our main goal is just to make sure that people see what she's doing with it and how she has faced it and made something of it, so that they could do the same. And whether that's reaching out or, focusing on maybe a career in mental health because it is so important and we do need more people there, that would be another great goal out of this. So
good. Yeah. Very good. Nico, you spent time in Iraq.
I did. I was there twice.
And just speaking to what Brady has presented in this film, and you mentioned that you had some people from your unit that were lost.
Yeah, including myself. Coming back, diagnosed with post-traumatic stress, I didn't know what hit me at the time. I always viewed post-traumatic stress as something a veteran on a street corner talking to himself or something like that. Mm-hmm. The stereotypical Vietnam vet that we would think that we'd see portrayed in movies. And then I realized it hit me. And I knew that I needed to get help. And I could go one way or the other. I could keep it under wraps and just carry on and then get out and take my disability rating and not talk about it, or I could talk about it. So I came back from Iraq and I established a support group, and I started talking about it while I was still in uniform. And then when I got out, I continued to do that and find myself at the Challenge Athletes Foundation, where we support people with permanent physical disabilities, but a lot of the veterans with whom I work also have the invisible wound as well. So I can empathize at that level. We're doing a lot of things with the Department of Veterans Affairs. We have a surf clinic every Wednesday for injured veterans, and we bring together clinical intervention along with physical activity, and we're seeing great gains in that. And it really is the mental side, There are a lot of physical wounds that these vets overcome. They get out there and they do it, but we find that a lot of things that hold them back are the mental. And that was that same thing with me. And so it's something that you have to address. It's just like any other wound.
How did you know you needed help?
Well, I knew that I was quite different than when I left, and with this depression, the anxiety, and I realized this was not going to get any better with me just trying to will it away. So I had to seek help, and I did. And it was very difficult at first. I was told I was the only one in the unit that had this, and I was like, oh, well, I must be unique. But there was not a really in-depth understanding in 2006 about this as we have now. So I'm glad that the military is very open about it now. Mm-hmm. A lot of senior leadership has spoken about it. A lot of Medal of Honor recipients have talked about it. And I feel it's my mission to get out ahead of that as well and tell people it's okay to ask for help. I tell vets, hey, look, if you got shot in the arm, would you hide it and let it get gangrene, right? No, you go get it fixed so you can be combat effective. Well, it's the same thing with the invisible wound.
Whew. Yeah, I just want to say thank you. I commend you for just saying what you just did, and I think that even outside of the military, the idea of mental health and the issues that come with it it's more than just recognizing it, but it's we have to come together as a community when someone needs help, and that's just that's so huge. And so what you're doing with the surf group that you have and the other festivities. That just warms my heart.
Well, I think too, we got to realize that it's part of our service is why this happened. It wasn't like, oh, I went out there and deliberately did this, right? I mean, it's a result of one's service. And it's hard to overcome that hurdle when you're trained to, hey, suck it up and go on, right? Yeah. Which is what you need to do. And that's then if I admit this, I'll be taken out of my unit, I'll get hell, but that's important to do. And, there is still a stigma. I think a lot of that, though, is self-imposed. There has been a lot of movement forward in the last 15 to 20 years on this issue.
And we hope that the San Diego GI Film Festival will help people recognize not only the issues that have arisen because of combat, but the possible solutions. And I think, Brady, that you kind of bring that out in Echoes of Resilience.
Sure. And it's not just, this film is not just for military. I don't like talking about the last couple of years so much because I'm sure no one else wants to hear about the pandemic period, but
we had one of those?
Oh yeah. Sorry. But I think as far as the research that I looked at, depression rose, anxiety rose. This would be a great film for people who are still kind of curious about, maybe looking at what's healthy for themselves and kind of what someone else did. So
I think asking for help is a really important topic because I think that everybody has trouble sometimes asking for help. And so do you think that the GI Film Festival encourages veterans to speak up about their experience?
I absolutely do. I think, again, the festival helps humanize a lot of these challenges that veterans are having. And because we're part of the community, it will help others in the community realize that they're not alone. They're not abnormal, right? And Shiva, I'm guessing you're in school still?
Yes, I am.
And so you probably saw a lot of your classmates struggle with a lot of those things. And it's okay to reach out for help. As a matter of fact, I think we have an obligation to do so, not just for ourselves, but for those around us. But it's one of the toughest things you'll ever do. But once you do it, you'll go, wow, I'm really glad I did. Because it's amazing how much support is out there for you.
If I can, let's see if I can share this quick story. I was in the Vietnam era. I was in Vietnam. I had a lot of friends. In fact, I went when the big expansion of troops in Vietnam. And one of my best friends in high school was there. And of course, you lose track with high school people, but I did run into him again in 91. And we had a boat at the time, and I invited him and his girlfriend to join my wife and I on our boat. And we were out for maybe 20 minutes. And he said, I can't do this, because he was on a boat in the Mekong River. And it affected him, and it still affected him. And there are a lot of people from that era who weren't willing to admit that they needed help or didn't know how to find the help that they needed. And I hope that's not the case for people like you, Nico, who spent time in Iraq, in the Middle East, and have been through a lot of conflicts, to try and get help, to try and I don't think that you will ever live a normal life, so to speak. I don't think there is such a thing for people who have seen what the horrors of war and what has happened in places like that, in Vietnam and the Middle East and Korea, in World War II. But there needs to be, I would think, support for people who are dealing with the things you're talking about. Sure.
And I'll just say, shout out to the Vietnam vets, because if it wasn't for them, for fighting for their rights, for getting post-traumatic stress recognized as a service-connected injury, we wouldn't be where we are today. The Vietnam vets were my mentors, and unfortunately, a lot of them didn't have the resources when they came back, and so became imprinted on them, so to speak. And when those injuries become imprinted on you, it's harder to overcome them. And sometimes it's a challenge. You're fearful to do it because you don't know who you'll be anymore if that is taken away from you, if you've been living with it for 30, 40, 50, now going on almost 60 years. Mm-hmm. So that's why I say you got to get on this early. And the Vietnam vets did not have that opportunity. We do as Iraq, Afghanistan vets. And I think we have an obligation, again, not only for ourselves, but those who have gone before us to take advantage of those resources and, get better because they put the time and effort in and suffered immensely because they didn't have those opportunities that they fought for and got that we now have because of them.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for your service, really.
Thank you.
I thank you as you're one who followed along with us Vietnam vets, and you spending 14 years and 2 tours of duty. Whew, man, that's strength. That's real strength. So thank you. And the San Diego GI Film Festival.
And I applaud you both for sharing your story. I think we learn a lot through experiences, and we raise awareness through experiences. So.
And let's find out one more time. How do we get a hold of the information on the film festival?
Go to gifilmfestivalsd.org. That's gifilmfestivalsd.org. Tickets for a block of films, $10. Military, veterans, and active duty, just $8. All films will be screened at the Museum of Photographic Arts in Balboa Park, 15 through 20 May.
And what about Echoes of Resilience? When will we be able to see that?
Oh, yeah. So Echoes of Resilience in that time block is going to be May 19th. That's Friday, 5 p.m. 5 p.m. to 7.
Nice. So there's also, I see here, the making of Top Gun 2, which was, directed by award-winning filmmaker and military veteran Mark Vizcarra, a 4S Ranch resident.
Yeah, and of course, Top Gun. I mean, that's all focused right here in San Diego, is it not? Top Gun's 1 and 2. So come on out and see that. That's one of our features. So
I tell people that from back east, where do you live? And I said, Top Gun.
That's right.
That's all you have to tell them.
That's right. That's
San Diego anymore. It's Top Gun.
That's opening night. Opening night is $25. There's going to be you're going to be able to meet a lot of the artists, the producers, directors, and actors for the films, and we'll have some good snacks there. I don't know, maybe we'll have ice cream. I'm not sure, but we'll definitely have some snacks there for you.
I want to thank our guests.
We're Brady Ferdig, co-director of GI Film Festival, and Nico Marcolongo, the advisory committee member.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I hope this is the most successful San Diego GI Film Festival ever.
No doubt.
Until next year, because we want them to be better and better year after year after year. Thanks for being part of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community. Thanks to Cloudcast Media, DS Studio, and thanks to our other sponsors, including
Mission Fed Credit Union.
And thanks to Shiva. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Dave Mason in for Drew Schlosberg. Thank you for listening. And listen for more of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community on Cloudcast Media.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.